Okay. With the mind games. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Marty. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. You just bear with me, people. I just want to quickly set this up and just sort this out. It's interesting when Glenn McQuirk, and I know it gets very confusing with two Glens around, and we're even color coded today. So, all right. Is it on? Are you picking me up? Okay.
He's picking up, I'm not picking up.
100%. All right. Good old technology, eh? We'll get there. Here we go. All right, fantastic. Great. As I mentioned, I'm also Glen Leece-Jones, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand on this side here. Can you all see that? Are you okay? You're right. Okay, fantastic. All right, my name is Glen Leece-Jones, as you can see there. That's actually a Welsh name, by the way, Leece-Jones, just as a matter of interest. When Glenn spoke to me and told me he wanted me to give a talk today, he didn't tell me what about. And it's interesting, when I put the talk together, it's so interesting for me because the things that have been discussed already is exactly what's coming out in my talk today. So that's how it works, isn't it? I'm going to be talking today about mind games. Mind games. And I'm not talking about this little instrument which you want to play with and games in this little instrument. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about mind games, the games that you play personally in your own mind on a daily basis, and the mind games that other people play against you on a daily basis. Let me give you a quick example. There was a Persian officer, a general in the army in the Gulf War, and he had this custom that every time they had a prisoner of war or a spy, they would obviously kill this man. They would put him in front of a firing squad and shoot him. But before that took place, he brought this person up before him and he gave him an option. He said to him, you have two options here. You can either go before the firing squad and die, or you can go to the black door. And in that prison, this black door was a very ominous thing. Everyone spoke about this black door. And everyone was so scared about this black door. But no one knew what it was about. Needless to say, this particular spy came up before the officer, and the officer said to him, you've got two options, firing squad or the black door. And this gentleman said, I'll take the firing squad. And moments later you heard the shots in the courtyard and the man was killed. And the general's aide came to him that day and said to him, General, what is this black door? What exactly is behind the black door that people are so scared about it? And he said, you know, someone, it's actually so simple. It's freedom. Freedom. And yet the interesting thing is, 95% of people did not choose the black door, they chose the firing squad. Now that's a mind game. All right. I've got another example here very quickly, and I hope that you can all see this. Unfortunately, this is just black and white. I couldn't get it in color. This is from a magazine which I picked up, a Success magazine, many, many years back. It's an advert. And I'm actually, oh, sorry, let me just go back over here quickly. It's an advert by Tag Heuer. And the slogan is success. It's a mind game. Now, I'm not too sure if you can actually see and pick up the picture exactly what's happening over there. Rugby field, okay. There's a cliff. There's probably a 50 to 100 meter drop down to below. That side of the team, this side of the team. Who do you think is going to win there? I love what your daughter's saying. She knows. Okay, it's a mind game, people. I honestly believe with all my heart that that team on this side, on my side, is going to win without any option whatsoever. Those are the types of mind games we need to be playing on a daily basis to be successful. You take any top sportsman today, and I guarantee 90% of the game that they're playing is in the mind before anything else. Yes, there's a lot of practice involved, but I'm telling you now, that works. And so what I wanted to do today is just discuss very quickly about these so-called mind games and tell you what is it that makes the difference. Because we all, every single one of us, I guarantee every one of us in this room over the past 5 to 10 years has been through trials and tribulations, challenges, divorce, loss of a loved one, loss of work, whatever it might be. We all go through challenges and tough times. What is the difference, would you say, between two people that go through exact same trial? One comes out on the other side very strong and successful. The other one can possibly even end up killing themselves. Suicide. What is the difference? What would you say is the number one thing that makes the difference? Anyone?
Mindset.
Sorry? Mindset. Absolutely. But it comes down to one word for me. Attitude. 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 Zig Ziglar says, your attitude determines your altitude. We all know these things. We know it. However, I'd like to give you a quick one-liner as a definition of attitude, which is quite different from the norm. So let me give that to you quickly. A habit of thought. A habit of thought. And this ties in so beautifully with Map for Life, because Map for Life is all about changing habits and putting habits in place that are good habits to turn things around for you. Attitude is a habit of thought. You can have a negative attitude, you can have a positive attitude. But what you are thinking on a daily basis in your mind is going to create that habit. So therefore, the habit determines the behavior. Not so? The behavior determines the results. So very simple. It's not rocket science. Negative attitude, negative behavior, negative result. Same works on the other side of the scale. Positive attitude, positive behavior, positive result. Not so? So let's take it a step further. What I want to do is ask the question, how do you change your attitude? You see, I'm into practical things. Every time I go on a course or I do anything and I learn about something, I want to take what I've learned and apply it practically in my life on a daily basis. Does that make sense? So I think that would be a good thing to do. So what I did was I put together a whole bunch of ideas of practically changing your attitude. What can you do practically on a day-to-day basis to change your attitude for the positive? Okay, let's start. First one, motivation. Motivation. Would you agree with me that it's very good to be motivated? For yourself personally and to get motivation from other people. But I want to just mention something here. I want to talk about Zig Ziglar again. He said something very interesting. He said, motivation is not a necessity, but he said it's like bathing. It's like washing yourself on a daily basis. If you don't do it, you'll get pretty stinky. So motivation is a very good thing. But let me just discuss this very quickly with you. Number one, you get fear motivation. Husband, wife, you don't do this, I'll beat the hell out of you. Even with your children. What about an employee-employee situation? If you don't do this and this and this in your work situation, you're going to be fired. Fear motivation, stick motivation. Tell you now, it doesn't work. Oh, it'll work for a while. It'll work for a period. But the fact of the matter is there's no sustainability whatsoever. Okay? So don't go that route. Next one is just the opposite to that. Incentive motivation. You get this so often in sales environments. Work for sales, production, guess what you get? The carrot. And you know what the company has to do then? This carrot has to increase continuously every year because it's just not worth it any longer. And then what happens is the company decides, but wait a minute, this is not viable any longer for them. They can't afford this. So then they drop it and the person leaves. It's again not sustainable. It's not a sustainable method. That, I believe, is what you need to look at in terms of motivation. Find your purpose. And once you've found your purpose, set a goal, an audacious goal in terms of that purpose, and get a vision for the future. And that, I guarantee, will be the right motivation. All right, next one that I wanted to talk about, self-talk. Self-talk. Often when I talk to people about the so-called self-talk, they look at me and they go, Glenn, self-talk, what a load of rubbish. That doesn't work, man. I've tried it before, it never works, it doesn't work. The mere fact that you've actually said that it doesn't work is exactly the fact that it worked. Let's be honest. I read this book many, many years ago. In fact, it was printed in 1976. Don Gossett, What You Say is What You Get. Brilliant book. And it's exactly true. There is power in the things that you speak and say. So be careful what you say. Let's move on. Intellectual. I want to talk specifically about self-education. Jim Rohn says something very interesting. He said formal education will get you a job and will probably get you a living. Self-education will make you rich and make you wealthy and make an entrepreneur out of you. Self-education is so important. You know, when I think about people coming to these meetings, we have these on a monthly basis. I think it's so important that you come back regularly to these meetings and get the motivation, get the information. I've been coming to these meetings since 2014. Every single time, without fail, I get at least one nugget of information that I can use and apply in my life. And that's helped me. So why not come again? Come again. Self-education, so important. Whoops, going the wrong way. Be a good listener. I've written down there the acronym OPE. Do you know what that stands for? OPE. I heard someone say it.
Other people's experience.
There we go, you got it. Other people's experience. You could even turn around saying your own personal experience. But that's exactly what it is, other people's experience. Do you not think it would be a good idea for you to phone someone up that's very successful in life, especially in the area that you're involved in your line of work, and get together with them over a cup of coffee or breakfast and pay for it, and ask a couple of questions? Like, for example, what exactly did you do to become successful? And take notes. And then on the other side of the scale, ask, what is it that you failed at? What did you do wrong in terms of building your business? And take notes. Do you not believe that that would be a good breakfast? Okay? Other people's experience. Be a good listener, people. Listen to what people are saying and apply things in your life correctly. All right? It'll certainly change your attitude. Pay attention to the University of Life. Life teaches you things. I learn from life on a daily basis. I'm telling you now, especially from my kids. You've got to learn from life. And again, would it not be a good idea at the end of every single day, take 5 minutes and sit down and write down and journal, what went well today? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? How could you overcome that tomorrow and the next day and in the future? Does that make sense? All right. There's a key phrase I wanted to mention over here. Jim Rohn says that if each of us is on a sailboat and we're going through rough times, storms, and the wind blows, it's not about the wind that blows, it's about the set of the sail. Okay? You hear me what I'm saying over here? Irrespective whether we're standing here today in July 2017 or it's 5 years' time, the wind is going to blow. There's going to be difficulty mixed with opportunity. Irrespective of how bad things are so-called in South Africa, it doesn't matter. There's opportunity mixed with difficulty. It's not about how the wind blows, it's about the set of the sail. So set your sail correctly. Okay, let's move on. Another point quickly, activity. Activity. The fruit of your labor, the disciplines of work. It fascinates me, and I don't know if it's just in South Africa. I've been overseas once or twice, but I haven't been enough to really pick up the trend. But in South Africa, I get this really bad trend, and that is simply the fact that people say, you owe me. I don't understand that. What about servanthood? What about a servant's heart? Putting in that extra work, that extra effort. Taking pride in your work. What about morals and standards and ethics? It seems to have gone out the back door. And we need to get back to basics. Such a simple thing for me in terms of basics, what I call manners. I teach my son to open up the door for a woman, and he's 11 years old, and he does it. It's basics, people. Activity, the fruit of your labor. Have you ever thought about the fact that when a woman goes through 9 months of pregnancy and then possibly hours of agony with the pregnancy, with the birth? Do you know why? It's the only way to produce life. Activity. We need to put in effort in terms of that. Next point, decisions. Oh, this is an interesting one. Decisions we make. We make decisions every single day, all the time. Every 5 minutes we're making decisions. We're going to make the right decisions. Let me give you another quick example. I have a very good friend who moved recently down to the coast. This man was an all-rounder. I mean, he was brilliant at everything that he did. He was a brilliant sportsman. He was brilliant at his work, everything. I mean, he was just an amazing guy. Loved the man. But don't climb in a car with him. You talk about Jekyll and Hyde. This man went absolutely ballistic when his seat touched the seat of a car. It was fascinating to me. The first time I hopped in the car with him and he started driving, I was getting embarrassed. In fact, by the time I got to the end of the destination, my knuckles were white from gripping the seat. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love speed. I love it. I'm on fast control all the time. But this was crazy. The guy swore and shouted and showed fingers, and he was swearing at people, and he pushed people off with his car. I mean, it was fascinating to me. Decisions we make. Ultimately, it comes down to one thing. He could have made a decision every time he sat with his bum in that car. I will not get upset today. It's a decision. Make the right decisions. All right. Here we go. Keep a journal. Record the results. We're nearly done. Let's go back there. Keep a journal. Record the results. I cannot tell you how important it is to record the results. I always use this example of a ship on the water. If you turn that dial 1 degree incorrectly in terms of your course, what's going to happen over a period of 20 nautical miles? You're going to be way off course. So many people, when I speak to them, when I coach them, they say to me, but they're having challenges in certain life. And I say, well, bring me your records. Go back to what's taken place over the past 5-10 years. And they go, I don't have any records. It shocks me. Track your results, people. It can make such a difference. All right. It can help you in terms of that mind game situation. Keep on asking the right questions. We heard that earlier as well. Keep on asking the right questions. I hear people all the time, why? Especially, why Lord? Why me? I'm going to ask, why not? Why not me? Ask the right questions. I have what I call a problem wheel. I have a question right in the center of this wheel which says, what is the problem? And then I have 8 points around there that are asking specific questions which will lead you to a point of actually finding a solution. Very simple. See if you want to get out of this, speak to me afterwards. Ask the right questions. If you're asking the right questions all the time, it makes such a big difference. It'll help you in terms of those mind game situations. Last point over here quickly. What good can come out of this situation? If we have that attitude of saying, what is the silver lining in terms of the situation? What is there has to be a silver lining. There always is. I guarantee it. Every single time you're going through challenges and trials and tribulations, look for the positive thing that you can get out of it. It will make a difference. And you'll come out of it strong. All right. Before I continue, let me just give you another little bit of a mind game and a bit of a joke. It's about a paramedic, and he's writing an exam. He's in his final exam, and he's going through this. He's studied hard. He's got to the last question, and he's thinking, man, I'm acing this. This is going to be brilliant. I'll get a distinction here. He gets to the last question, and he reads it, and he goes, wow, how do I answer this? He puts his pen down. He's scratching his head, and he's thinking, I don't know how to answer this. The question reads like this. You're a qualified paramedic. You're riding in your ambulance. As you come around the corner to a very busy street, you hear a bomb blast. When you pass around the corner, you see a car that's overturned because of the bomb blast, and there's a couple inside the car. The car is burning. They can't get out. They're stuck. At the same time, you see a man that's been blown by the blast into a river next to this road, and he's shouting, help me, help me, I can't swim, I can't swim. Seconds later, a man comes running over a coffee shop and he's shouting, help me, my wife is in labor, help me. And the question is this, who do you rescue first? Who do you rescue first? This paramedic is scratching his head. Suddenly he gets a grin in his face and he thinks, I got the answer. Picks up his pen and he writes it down. You know what he wrote down? He wrote this down. He said, I would climb out the ambulance, take off my uniform and mingle with the crowd. Okay, some of you are going to catch it when you go home today. That's not the answer, people. All right, that's not the way to do it. Okay, that's definitely not the responsible thing to do. But that's the point, people. It's mind games. We need to be doing the responsible thing. All right. So, don't be average. Don't settle for second best. All right? Don't just be ordinary, be extraordinary. The difference between those two words is a simple little word called extra. Just do that little bit extra. Do that little bit of extra work per day. To put in that little bit of extra effort. Make that little bit of extra difference in your wife's name, in your wife's situation, your husband's situation, in your children's situation. Just do that little bit extra and set a better sail. because the wind is going to blow, irrespective. Just set a better sail. All right. And you will be significant. Thank you very much.